Being an artist on the internet has always been kind of difficult. It's fun sharing your creations and your characters, but art is an extremely intimate thing, and the internet is a violently honest place, so sharing your work no matter how many eyes it gets is a little intimidating. I'd argue that it's gotten worse in the past 5 years or so with the rise of AI, obviously, and the art community, primarily on TikTok, being somewhat of a toxic place. I'm sure it happens in other online spaces, but the art community really loves to latch on to quote-unquote drama that continuously gets dragged out forever, and sometimes it's just because they find your art style bad, or what you're creating is cringe. We're back to that. Why does this keep happening? Now, I'm gonna stay away from that portion of the internet, so I'm not gonna be touching on anything like that today, but I am going to talk about another stressor that has come up more recently in this art community, and that is art trends. Art trends have been around forever. Of course, you got different templates, bases, animation memes, and a lot of these would stay around for years and years. But nowadays, the internet moves so fast, the trend that you really want to do will be dead before you pick up your freaking Apple Pencil. Being an artist pretty much goes hand in hand with social media. One of the major ways to have a career in art is to build a following, and hopping on trends will oftentimes get you that engagement that many seek out when trying to get their artwork noticed. But that potential engagement that you will get from hopping on something viral has a very short window for completion, and those windows are getting smaller and smaller with every new trend I see. When I first started doing social media, I felt a lot of pressure to really participate in these trends because the numbers started meaning so much to me on any of my accounts. More recently, I've tried to step away and admire from afar. If I really liked an idea or felt inspired, I would complete these in my own time. It felt really good, and it really took away from the stress that I think a lot of people feel around these art ideas that are supposed to be fun. So I thought I'd make a video about some of these art trends that I missed with my OCs, talk about some of the ways that I handled being on social media, and how to avoid the feeling of this constant race and stress to complete artwork that will inevitably get you burnt out, as well as some character lore. I had to throw it in there. Hello, my name is Emma. I like to design characters, make little stories, and share it with you. If you like that kind of thing, I would kindly ask you to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm getting very close to 200,000 subscribers, and I'm really excited about that. Thank you all so much. Alright, we got a lot of trends to catch up on, so let's jump in, shall we? The first trend I decided to do was technically spread around at some point. I saw this one occasionally. I don't think it's as popular as some of them. The pose came from this vintage magazine ad, I assume, and it's a cool pose. I really like it, so I wanted to draw one of my characters in it. But this is an interesting and a kind of strange pose, so I wanted some help figuring out the anatomy. Thankfully, I had today's sponsor, Skillshare, to give me a few tips. I used the class Character Illustration Drawing Figures in Clothing by Gabriel Piccolo to really help me draw more fluidly and expressively. I love to create characters, and it's always good to learn new things and different techniques. Skillshare has creative classes taught by amazing world-class creatives, illustrators, graphic designers, and entrepreneurs, and you can learn directly from them. Whether you're looking to start a new hobby, level up on your career, or create long-lasting habits, Skillshare has it all. The classes on Skillshare invite you to be participatory in projects and share your progress along the way. This allows you to make connections with peers and get feedback from your own teacher. My favorite thing about Skillshare is the fact that you can learn at your own pace. As someone who is very scatterbrained, I like the fact that I don't have to consistently worry about missing a class, and I can pick it up whenever I want to. There are so many different categories and skill types for you to explore, from business practices to knitting. You're bound to find something you'll be interested in. And if you are interested, the first 500 people to use the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Get started today. Thank you, Skillshare, and let's get back to this silly drawing. Now, will I be drawing a female character? Oh no! I am going to be drawing my character, Fox, in this book because it's all I could think about when I saw this picture. So, sorry. If you don't know about my concept called Title Bound, I really recommend you watch these videos. The basic rundown is that these characters are secretive superheroes, and their powers came from magical fairy tale books. Whatever the fairy tale book they have will correlate to their superpower. Fox is also a superhero named King Midas, and the other half to this duo is Winifred, and Winifred is the superhero Scarlet Jade based off of Little Red Riding Hood. There's also more characters in this concept. I have a lot of ideas. I want to make another video exploring their story again, so I'm gonna try to hold back a bit because I don't know how much I really want to share. In this video, we're mostly focusing on their civilian forms, which I do enjoy a lot. Fox is a very buttoned up, cold person. He obviously has different sides to himself that are much more jovial and fun. Midas, but he really likes to keep to himself, and he's somewhat distant from people. However, you get a little wine in this man, and oh boy. I think Fox is a flirtatious drunk. He becomes much more outgoing, and I think this illustration portrays a night where Fox and Winifred have wine together, and things get a little purely hypothetical though. I don't know if anything like this will actually happen, but Winifred has a crush on Fox, so she's eating this up. She eats this kind of thing up. They are freaks, and I can't stop thinking about them. I don't think I've ever been this obsessed with OCs ever. I really love how this turned out. I love his expression, and I love the way the pants turned out. I want this one on one of those acrylic stands, low-key. I just love this man. Oh my god. Roblox faces trend. I don't know what to call this. I always call it Roblox what because it says it on the picture. When I see this picture, though, all I can hear is that song. Dear Mr. Douchebag. This one was fairly popular. It was spread around quite a bit on TikTok. I'm sure most of you haven't even encountered some of these trends because your For You page is so honed in on just you. I can't even talk about online things with my friends anymore because most of the time, the things that are flooding my For You page don't even touch theirs. I don't know how it works. I believe this is just a screenshot of these two Roblox faces in the character creator. Not really sure how this became an art trend, but here we are. Winifred and Fox work together. Winifred is Fox's secretary. She doesn't start out with this job. She kind of got it by accident. I always imagine her wanting to finally get her life together, stop losing jobs, and look around for something more serious. So she started interviewing around at corporations. Maybe someone interviewed Winifred for Fox, so when she finally got the job and came in for her first day, it was a surprise when they both saw each other. Fox/Midas is very much in love with Scarlet Jade, and Winifred has a crush on Fox. And as the story progresses, those dynamics will shift, so Midas will start interacting with Winifred and having feelings for her, and Winifred will have feelings for him, and Fox will start having feelings for Winifred. And I think in this period, Winifred will start distancing herself from Fox, and Fox will awkwardly try to reconnect with her because he is a freak and she is a freak. I don't think they'll be able to stop their freaks, so they freak together. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this prompt really fits them because Winifred is a little weirdo and Fox likes her weirdo tendencies, so it fits them. Fox is low-key a jerk in a lot of ways, and he wasn't very kind to Winifred in the past. They went to high school together, and he pretty much straight up ignored her most of the time, but over time he does become more attentive, and by the end, he'd do anything for that girl. Literally anything. Okay, I'm rambling about their dynamic. Let me try to talk more about the artwork. I played around with the symmetry tool because I actually really like the look of art when artists use this tool. I know some really don't like that. They think it's cheating, and in my opinion, I think it looks really clean, and I don't usually use it, so I wanted to. I'm not very good at drawing noses head on unless they're extremely simple, and Fox's nose is quite unique, so I did struggle a bit trying to capture the angle. I don't think this really looks like Fox that much. I do like the way his hair turned out, so I guess there is a silver lining. For the background, I wanted to do a simple pattern and border, a little different from what I usually go for, and I really like how it turned out. I think it's really cute. I'm glad I get to add this to my collection of drawings of them. Yay! The Apple Core trend. I always knew I wanted to do this one at some point. I actually had a comic plan in relation to doing this trend because I always want to go the extra mile when I don't have time for extra miles. Unfortunately, the comic will not be in this video. Maybe I'll make it one day, but let's be honest, I probably won't. This one is a bit older, I believe. It's actually stuck around quite a while compared to other trends who just come and go. I know a lot of artists struggle with finding a voice on social media and are often discouraged by numbers of posts that flop. I always thought by the time that I got a lot of followers or a lot of likes, I would finally feel secure in my artwork and myself in relation to being an online presence. And just to be clear, I'm not saying my problems are bigger than anyone else's. I know how lucky I am to be in this position, but these feelings don't disappear with follower counts, so I wanted to share some perspective in relation to that. I would be lying if I said I didn't feel extremely discouraged and low when a YouTube video didn't do as well as I thought it would, or an Instagram post flop. But the amount of views and likes I'm sad about getting now was something I would kill for when I was starting out. I also know that I would be extremely frustrated with the way I'm speaking now because I get so confused why creators felt discouraged with engagement they were getting when they were getting so much. And that's because I tied my self-worth so tightly to the way my art performed, and once I started to let go of that, I became a lot happier about what I was creating. The best advice I've ever received in starting out or just being on social media is when you're posting artwork online, do it for fun. If you shift your mindset to just doing something for fun, it takes a lot of that pressure off of everything having to do phenomenally in engagement. And as soon as I started to grow in my social media presence, I forgot this advice. I started to spiral every time I would post something new. If it flopped, I felt like an extreme failure. I thought it was something to do with my artwork. I thought it was me. But recently, I've tried to re-embrace this mindset of doing things for fun and really listening to myself, as well as not being afraid to slow down, as Billy Joel said in the phenomenal song Vienna. And it has really helped me loosen up and let things go. If a post didn't do that well, I moved on to the next project. If I was feeling burnt out, I would stop drawing for a couple days. If I didn't want to do an art trend right away, I didn't worry about getting it out on time. I know that this advice isn't viable for everyone, especially for those whose jobs rely on social media and whose posts have to do well in order for them to make an income. But taking small steps or just listening to yourself in moments can go a long way in your relationship with posting. Going viral is something completely out of your control. A post that does good can feel really great, and you want to chase that feeling. But when that doesn't replicate every time, that can get very discouraging, and I totally get that. I think that's why a lot of people turn to doing trends. Most of the time, it's an easy guarantee to getting more engagement than you might usually get. And for the most part, I see these things as extremely fun and a cool way to intermingle yourself with the art community. However, I see so many posts of people stressing out about getting an animation meme out before a trend dies, which I didn't even touch on before this video because there's no way I could finish an animation meme in time to post this. Art is so time consuming that you would literally have to be a machine to be able to keep up with the pace nowadays. It's a fear of missing out that I can relate to a lot, but sometimes it's okay to just let it pass and do it later, because even if the popularity dies, it'll still be there. The TLDR, what I'm trying to say is it's okay if you can't get something done in time, and I think we need to stop being so hard on ourselves. Post what you want to post. Don't let the TikTok algorithm control you completely. Make sure you step back and analyze what you're doing and what might be making you stressed. It's a very freeing thing, and you will have a much better time doing these trends because at the end of the day, they are supposed to be fun. I hope I didn't sound too preachy on that. I really don't want to come off as ungrateful for what I have now either. I'm extremely grateful for all the love I get on my artwork. It's so heartwarming and awesome and fun. I'm just trying to hammer in that it's okay to feel discouraged, but it doesn't mean that your artwork is bad or no one likes you. Most of the time, the algorithm freaking sucks, but if you just keep at it and step away occasionally, you'll be able to have a much healthier and good relationship with social media. I am reading your future success. If you see this video at 9 p.m. on December 4th, all your wishes will come true. Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest because it has been bugging me for a while. Let's talk about the artwork now. This trend started with the creator Triedkiss on TikTok, and you basically will draw an apple core and use the negative space to make a profile of your OCs. Usually it's a ship or some angsty stuff, and I'm doing some angsty stuff. I decided to, guess what, draw Fox and Winifred. What? Who could have guessed? And this drawing made me realize that I really want Winifred to have the habit of chewing on her hair. I just feel like that's just such a thing she would do. My idea is that she did it a lot when she was younger, and more recently she has stopped, but she tends to revert back to her old habits when she feels very stressed or anxious. Relatable. I don't chew my hair, but who picks at their lip? Me. I wanted their silhouette to be very subtle so you could really pay attention to the apple core. I really love how this one came out. I talked about acrylic stands. I want this to be on an acrylic keychain. It's so cool looking. Really happy with how this turned out. This was also very fun to draw, and it was a pretty quick one, so I did enjoy that. Technically, this is a normie trend. I'm just kidding. But really, it's not an art trend per se. But I have seen a lot of people on TikTok doing this particular trend with pictures of their young selves. So I took inspiration from that and put a little spin on it. It's using the song Landslide by Stevie Nicks and the first lyrics in the song, I believe. I'm sure other artists have done this trend with their OCs as well, but I didn't see many. I decided to draw Rainy and Winifred because they are really implanting themselves in my mind recently. I love their dynamic. I find it so interesting. Rainy and Winifred have been friends since high school or middle school, I'm not sure yet. They lived in the same apartment building and hung out whenever they could. Rainy's parents were very strict growing up, so she would have to find certain moments to hang out with Winifred, especially because she didn't go to school with her either. She was a homeschool kid. I'm just kidding. If you were homeschooled, I'm sure you're cool as hell. When they became adults, Rainy married her husband very young and moved into a very nice house. Winifred lived with her grandmother, who unfortunately passes away, and when she has nowhere to stay, Rainy welcomes her in, and Winifred definitely overstays. Rainy is unhappy in her marriage, but she stays because it's what she's always wanted her whole life. And her husband, whom I have not designed yet, is very not great. Rainy constantly has to tend to him, and even though Rainy knows she is unhappy, she would never admit that to anyone. And I don't think she really sees the level of manipulation she's going through either. Winifred can see this happening, but there isn't much she can actually do about it besides tell her it's a Rainy's own battle. I talk about it more in this video. Because of this, their friendship has definitely been strained, but they'll have these moments where they feel very close again, having a good time, and I wanted to show that a bit. Drawing their younger teenage selves was so fun. I love teenage Winnie. She is so cute. I can't wait to share more of the story with you guys because I do have an idea for a main villain, and that has a lot to do with the past, so hopefully I'll share that with you guys soon, to those of you who care. Part of the reason I wanted to draw younger them too was because this pose I found, which I thought fit them so well, and I had to show Winnie chewing on her hair again. That girl loves to chow down, what can I say? The last quote-unquote trend I am doing is not a trend at all, and that was because I'm going to try to create my own art trend. which is something I really recommend you guys doing. If no trends speak to you, just make your own. It could be redrawing a screenshot of your favorite show with your characters, a cool Pinterest pose, an outfit concept you came up with. Maybe it'll catch on, maybe it won't. You never know. It's worth a shot. You'll never know if you don't try. So here I am trying. Do my art trend or don't. It's up to you. I chose these screenshots from the Last Christmas by Wham's music video. It's one of my favorite music videos. The vibes are off the charts. This is how I thought adulthood would be. Why can't I have this? These screenshots out of context can be interpreted in a lot of ways. The video George Michael is looking at the girl, but the other member of Wham was more eye-catching in the screenshot in my opinion, so I opted to make Winifred in that pose. The little story I have behind this piece is an office Christmas party. Everyone's drinking and having a few laughs, and I think Winifred becomes extremely confident when drunk. She is less insecure about what she says, and she definitely comes off better to people. And Fox is, again, very flirtatious, but also jealous. And Winifred knows what she's doing. Now, who is this man with Winifred? This is my placeholder design for Fox's brother. Fox is a Nepo baby, so he works with his two other brothers in the company that I have yet to decide. I think his brother is the oldest and the next in line to really take over the whole company, and Fox is more of a black sheep of the family, so he and his brothers are very much different from each other. Fox doesn't really like his brothers all that much, so when she sees his favorite person, who will never know she is his favorite person, with this brother, he's not very happy. I tried to capture the vibe of the original as much as possible. I think it's okay. I think I could have done a little better. I wanted the people in the background to fade as much as possible, but also not be distracting if I made them too detailed. I hope that I struck a good balance. I think it turned out pretty well. Guys, do you think there's a mistletoe at this party? Do you think that Winifred and Fox will have a little jealous smooch in the closet? Who knows? Anything's possible. This is also very time appropriate. It's the Christmas season, and I feel kind of Christmassy for the first time in a long time. That's fun. Thank you so much for watching. I know this video was a little all over the place and also kind of random, kind of simple. I wanted to just talk about it because, as I said, it's been bugging me for a while, and I think it's gotten pretty bad more recently. Obviously, this has nothing to do with the actual art trends themselves. It has to do with the way things move on TikTok in particular, so it is an interesting thing to analyze. I still struggle with feeling the FOMO. I'm not even gonna sit here and say I don't feel pressure from these things from time to time. But again, if you take a step back and see what trends you actually want to do and ones you want to just admire from afar, it helps a lot in preventing yourself from getting burnt out. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, peace.